What's up, Copy Squad? It's your boy Kyle Milligan of copywriter.com coming to you live in Boca Raton, Florida. And today I want to talk about why copywriters will never succeed unless they respect small thinking. If you're tuning in, this is my second attempt at this live. My computer's Wi-Fi, for whatever reason, cut out, so we're doing it from the phone. So what I was talking about is this idea of small thinking. I'm going to kind of jump a little bit into it and get right to the point. Essentially, there are a lot of folks who want to read the books and the courses and all that stuff and then go charge like $5,000, quote, quote, charge their worth. A lot of the stuff that I say and talk about will probably run counterintuitive to the folks on like the Facebook group saying, oh, know your worth. Your sales letter is worth $10 bajillion and that sort of stuff. And it's going to also run counterintuitive to the folks who want to buy the one book and then charge $5,000. So essentially, one of the things that I was talking about right before the live cut out earlier was that it's kind of respectable to see a guy like step into like the boxing ring and then just throw haymakers left and right and just go for the gold, right? Just try to get that knockout punch and win the match in one round. It's respectable to see that tenacity, right? But it's not respectable to see this dude step into the ring once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and then just keep getting knocked out and going down in the second round of every match, right? So I think that's where a lot of copywriters are with it, where they don't really respect small thinking. There is this whole obsession and admiration of charging like $10,000 for a sales letter. There are a lot of people looking to where folks are now and not really considering where they started from and thinking that's where they have to be today. And I think that plugs up the thinking, like the smart moves that I think a lot of people should be making and gets them all derailed. So I want to tell you a couple quick stories that will kind of lead into that. So how do I describe this? I think there's a couple different examples I've got from Robert Kiyosaki. So I've always been like a fan of Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad. And when I wrote a sales letter for him last year, I studied the bejesus out of all his materials. I even bought his board game Cash Flow, which is like a financial education tool. And one of the cool things, like I played the game and I really got a lot out of it actually. It actually changed my perspective on things. He has the game set up where you have to buy these, you get these deal cards, you get these small deal cards, right? And the small deal cards are the cards that nobody's going to respect like in the real world, in the copywriting and freelance world, in my opinion. The small deal cards are like fixer-upper houses. Like you're buying assets, you're buying like properties. So like fixer-upper houses, single-family homes, like that kind of stuff. And oftentimes you're getting them for cheap, they're not worth much, and they don't really produce much cash flow in the game. But if you get a big deal card, it's just way out of your league. It's out of your element. You don't have the resources to get in. Like there's no way. So what you have to do to graduate from a small deal card, right? So the game is played with the roll of dice, and you land on big deals or small deals. And you have to keep passing up big deal after big deal after big deal after big deal. You have all these amazing golden profitable opportunities hit your hand. And it's like, oh my God, if only I could get in on this big deal. But I don't have the resources. I don't have the funds. I don't have the stuff needed to get in on the card yet. You have to instead gather a bunch of small deals. You gotta like cobble together all this little stuff. You gotta go buy stocks and you gotta go buy like little crappy fixer-upper houses. It's a cool game, man. This is actually a really big game changer, like perspective shifter on how to look at finances. And then eventually you get a big deal card and you realize, wait, if I sell 3 houses and half my stocks, I can afford what a big deal card would be like a multi-family thing. Like it's got like 16 units, right? Or you actually come into like a really great like fourplex or something like that. And it's like, I can afford this. And then you jump. You get in that big deal and you elevate to the next level, okay? Another thing Robert Kiyosaki says in his books, I don't know if it's his books or his talks. I've read it all and seen it all at this point. But he says, 4 green houses, 1 red hotel. That's monopoly, right? In order to get a red hotel and charge the maximum amount of rent for your property, you have to first get 4 green houses. And I think the lesson that I got from playing the Cash Flow board game, from hearing that lesson about Monopoly and playing Monopoly myself, is that success is not something you do. The red hotel, you didn't really do that. The successful thing, the getting the big deal card, you don't do that. You don't do the hotel. Instead, what you do is 4 green houses. In order to get the big deal card, you don't go for the big deal card. You don't set out and try to grab a big deal card. You set out and try to grab small deal cards. And almost on accident, you get a big deal card. And you're like, oh, because I worked so hard to get all these small deals, Now I can trade them all in. I can sell off all these properties. I can trade in my 4 greenhouses. I get the red hotel. I get the big deal card. And I think a lot of people absolutely 100% do not respect that. They don't respect that. They buy the book or they buy a video course and they want to go out there and they want to charge $5,000. When in reality, I've said this in I think it was our very last video I did, is can you basically produce that credibility? Can you produce the result that you say you can produce? And a lot of people, the answer is no. They don't even have any shred of like close to that sort of result, and yet they want the big deal card. They want the big deal card because they don't respect the small deal card. They think the small deal cards are for losers. They think the small deal cards are for scrubs, right? Well, let me tell you a little bit about my background. Like when I started writing for money, I started on Fiverr writing blogs, okay? I started on Fiverr writing blogs. I wrote blogs for $5 a piece. Then I moved to Upwork, where I began charging $15 for a blog, okay? And then what I would do is every time I'd pitch, I'd raise my rate $10 per blog. That's how I did it. And then the next guy that said, yes, I will pay $25, I stopped writing for the guy who wouldn't come off 15. I'd write him and I'd say, hey buddy, I'm doing 25 now, is that cool? And if he said no, I'd say, okay, well I'm just gonna go write for this dude. And then the next guy came along and I said, okay, I charge $35 per blog, is that okay with you, sir? And then the guy would say, yeah, and I'd say, okay, great. And I'd go back to the other guy and I'd say, hey buddy, I do 35 now. And if that's okay with you, I'm gonna have to raise the rates. And if he says no, then I'm gonna have to go, okay, I'm gonna write for this other guy instead. And those are small deal cards. And every time I got a new small deal card that was better, or if I ran out of time, or if I maxed out, I would trade in a crappier small deal card. But make no mistake about it, it was a small deal card and it was crappy, and I spent the time like fishing out these jobs, right? I started that time fishing out these crappy little jobs at the bottom. And I think that methodology has carried over into everything that I do. And I think I don't aggressively say it enough. I do say often in my earlier videos, take care of the small things and the big things will take care of themselves. That's what I'm talking about. People don't respect the small deal grind. They don't respect the small hustles, right? So what I say every day, there's 3 things that you should do every day, and I stole this from Joe Schrafer, right? I'm trying to get my phone into this. There we go. All right, I stole this idea from Joe Schrafer, and it's the 3 daily practices for becoming a great copywriter fast. It's write a piece of copy a day, read a piece of copy a day, write a piece of copy a day, and come up with an idea a day. So today on my way to this office, I listened to a Frank Kern VSL twice because the VSL was only like 10 minutes long. It was pitching his new like subliminal selling thing or something like that. So I listened to it, and then it restarted, and I just listened to it again. Like I did that whilst driving, all right? So I was listening to the VSL. I was like, wow, that's really cool how he makes the whole mechanism about the subliminal message thing. And very right away, he says, I hate selling. I'm not a good salesman. I'm the worst in the world. What I do instead is I do subliminal messaging or something like that. And that's, whoa, all of a sudden I don't have to do anything hard. It's all super easy, right? So I did that, and I came to work, and then I did my 2 hours of deep work. Other people want to be like, no, I work 10 hours a day. I go balls to the wall. I'm a hustler. I 10x. It's like, bro, 2 hours of deep work. Shut everything off. No surfing the web, no Facebook, no Twitter. You can have some music. And for 2 hours, I do it 60 minutes. I take a break. I do 60 more minutes where it is just hardcore grinding. Guess what I did in my last deep hour of work? 1 page of copy. I did 1 page in 60 minutes. And it was a page that I had already written. I had to rewrite it. And I was like, okay, this is a really boring page. So I have to now go research a better angle for this page because this page sucks. It's not cool, it's not exciting, it's boring, it's not in the news. I need to find something new. And 1 page in 60 minutes, right? Little things. People don't respect it. They want to write like the $10 million hit, man. But it is a culmination of taking 2 hours of deep work a day and doing it every single day. Saturdays and Sundays included. If you want to take a day off, cool. I mean, that's fine. But I'm repeating the fact that those folks that I see going for 8, 10, 12 hours a day, guess what they're doing? They're burning out in the middle of the first week because they don't respect the small thinking. They don't respect it. They don't think it's cool. Like, they don't respect the long-term game. Like, yeah, I go on the videos and I say, I made $7.1 million last year for in sales copy and brought in 51,000 names. But I just told you it started with like a $15 blog post like 6 years ago, and I just started, or I don't know how long ago, I should probably figure out that year. And every year I just kind of charge more and more and more. And guess when I finally decided to start talking to you guys? After a year of professional copywriting experience where I had like really strong credibility and results to speak of, right? I think that's the skip. That's the thing that everybody wants to leapfrog over. Just jump into that. I want to make $1 million like Kyle Milligan. Like, I don't even make $1 million. That was all sales, right? So I'm not even a millionaire. I'm not a millionaire. I'm not a millionaire, all right? I'm just a dude who does the same junk every day, and it compounds. So I told you the 3 daily exercises. Small, little daily exercises. Dan Westbrook says, what's up? What up, Dan? I told you the 3 daily exercises. Small daily exercises. I told you about 2 hours of deep work. Every day, I try to spend a minimum of 2 hours doing deep work. Some days I do 3. Some days I do a little more. But generally, that's what I do. The rest of the time is doing like other stuff. And deep work, man, I got so many videos on that. But again, it's a small daily effort. Compounding. It starts and ends with credibility. Can you do what you say you're gonna? I'm reading off my outline now. Started blogging on Fiverr. The game forces you to step up in cash flow. I said success is an accident. All right. Stop looking at the end result. Here's another example. Hey, yo, Sydney, what up? So, the idea is that like I talked about in the last one about credibility, about grabbing clients, right? Starts and ends with credibility. Can you do the things that you say you're gonna do? If not, step down, baby. It's okay. It's okay to build. It's okay to take little increments, build momentum, get something going, prove your results, and move up and up and up and up and up. And I think that's the way you should do it. That's the way I do it, right? And people look to, like I said last video, the PewDiePies. They say, but PewDiePie makes a video about memes, and he makes 10 million views, whatever a time. It's not that he started at that level. PewDiePie started streaming video games before it was cool. And then he stopped streaming video games after it was cool and started doing his own thing again, right? He goes out there to the fringes. And it's about taking up those small ponds, being a big fish, and stepping up and up and up gradually, slowly, steadily, right? And then another one I see is stuff like Ben Settle doesn't use Twitter or Facebook. Okay, I want to talk about people like that. So why doesn't Ben Settle use Twitter or Facebook? Should you not use Twitter or Facebook? Like, are you above social because Ben Settle's cool and he doesn't use social? The answer is, okay, first, should you use it? Like, don't look at where he is. Don't look at where PewDiePie is. Don't look at where Grant Cardone is. Look where they were. The reason Ben Settle doesn't need to use social is because when I say the word Ben Settle, you know exactly who I'm talking about. But he used to use Facebook. He used to use Twitter. All these dudes, I see it on Twitter all the time. Like, yeah, this is a waste of time. Like, bro, you're saying that now that you have 70,000 followers. Like, it wasn't a waste of time to get where you are. People want to forget about the grind and the rise and the stepping up and stepping up and stepping up and stepping up because they want to think about big thinking. They want to think about 10x. They want to think about all these millions and all that stuff. Dude, if you want to succeed in copywriting, I've heard some people say they found some Agora Financial copy camp videos on YouTube. If you find the very, 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 very last one, they asked us all, what did you learn? And my response when they asked me, what did you learn? I said, nothing doesn't matter. That is, nothing doesn't matter. That's a double negative. It means everything matters, right? And in every line of copy, every sentence, every punctuation, every chance to choose a 2-syllable word instead of a 3-syllable word, all of that stuff is constantly mattering. I'm trying to read this. I'm trying not to read this comment. How do I get these out of my? I'm gonna come back to that comment. Thanks for leaving it. But it distracted the mess out of me. But yeah. So basically, nothing doesn't matter. Every little thing does matter, and nobody wants to think small. Everyone wants to think big. Everyone wants to write a giant sales letter that's a huge hit and knocks it out and makes $1 bajillion. Now I'm rambling. So what I'm gonna do really quick is, again, do the small things, the big things take care of themselves. I try to simplify it into super small little daily things that you can do. I say, do the 3 exercises, read a piece of copy, write a piece of copy, come up with an idea a day, do 2 hours of deep work a day. And this is just daily stuff that you do every day and it compounds, okay? The other thing, I focus on the big 4 selling emotions. Don't complicate it. New, easy, safe, and big. I wrote an entire book about it. If you want to get more in depth on how to apply those to your copy, that book is at kylethewriter.com/book. It's called Take Their Money. It's new, easy, safe, and big. I've done a bajillion videos on those emotions, but that's it. Get those emotions locked down. The small things. Focus on those and make your argument clear and precise. My video before my last one was called Game of Proof, Death by 1,000 Cuts. Again, small thinking, 1,000 little cuts, 1,000 little pieces of proof. The sales letter it's made up of a bunch of small thinking. It's made up of a bunch of little things that just kind of start to creep into your brain and change the way that you kind of think about one of these big promises. Yeah, there's a big promise, but it's propped up by 1,000 little 2x4s of proof, right? If the ceiling or whatever, if it's the sun, whatever you want to call it, like it's held up by a bajillion little pieces of proof, 1,000 little pieces of proof. And again, it is these daily little tiny things over and over and over that makes up success. I do have one more thing I want to say before I get into these comments. If you want to see how someone like me takes these little efforts so seriously, how I meticulously analyze and go over every single thing, I invite you to check out my new product called The Process. It's in the beta stage. It's 60% off until May 18th. That window is closing. It's at kylethewriter.com/process. And here's some of the feedback that I've gotten is like, man, that sounds like a lot of content to consume. Basically, it allows you to shadow me for 6 hours whilst I put together a sales letter. I'm talking like from the idea to the research. Like you watch me build the research doc, you watch me put the words together on the page, and then go over what I changed from day 1 to day 2 and how I add to it. You basically get to watch me write a sales letter. If it seems like a lot of content to consume, here's my recommendation. Think smaller. It is 6 hours and you have probably 30 plus more years of life. But if you just listen to about 30 minutes of that content a day, every day you'll get a new idea. Every day you'll take a new angle or a new thing. And it's not because I'm the smartest copywriter in the world. It's not because I'm the best copywriter in the world. I'm neither. It's because I'm a different copywriter. I'm just a different dude who's got different experiences than you. And whenever you listen to me for 30 minutes a day, I'm going to eventually say something that you hadn't thought of before. And that is going to be a new tool in your tool belt. That is why The Process is such a powerful product, because you get to see behind the curtain me writing a sales letter. Maybe you got your process. Maybe you got it locked down and you love what you do and you write your Facebook ads and your emails and everything the way you do it. But perhaps that 1 30-minute session that you do every single day, you pull out that key little thing that changes the game for you, that ups your level, that you were like, oh man, if I'd have done that in my last launch, I could have made so much more money. That's the power, man. I've been following Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi's mastermind thing lately, and they keep saying this thing from Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, which is like when two minds come together, it forms a third greater mind called a mastermind. Like that's that whole idea of what a mastermind is. It isn't a group of people, it's the combined knowledge, right? So whenever you get a chance to watch me do my process, it opens a world where you can basically combine your experience with my experience. And again, it's not because I'm the smartest or best copywriter. It's because I'm a different copywriter. All right, I want to look at this comment really quick here. I've been wanting to get to this. Joseph says, I feel like you're reading my mail, Kyle. I wanted to jump into the big stuff right away. I realized I need to be okay with starting on the smaller things and work my way up. Get the basics really in my mind and build credibility and then grow. Thanks, Kyle. I needed to be reminded of that. Dude, credibility. Like, I think it's phenomenal because there's an internet culture that you should charge your worth, king, you know? And it's like, but what is your worth? Have you provided thousands? Have you provided $5,000 worth of value to a business before? And I understand that you need to charge something livable or whatever you want to call it. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But I think the problem isn't that people they don't want to charge small because they think small means that it's not cool. Like they don't respect it. They don't respect the step up of experience. They don't respect the grind and the hustle and the climb. They respect the people at the top of the mountain. And instead of going into the ring, right? Here's some Gary Vaynerchuk, jab, 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 right hook. That's what Gary Vaynerchuk says to do with value before you pitch. And so that's some context for that. But basically they step into the ring ready to throw haymaker after haymaker after haymaker, and then they get tuckered out and they quit. They go down in the first or second round. I worked 10,000 hours this week and I pitched 7 billion people and I tried to charge them all $10,000 for my first client. And it's like, dude, it's okay to step up. It's okay to play the long game, man. If you want to make a career of this, it can be a very lucrative career. So again, it's all little things that compound. The 3 daily exercises, 2 hours of deep work. Every step counts. And if you want to see how I do it, check out kylethewriter.com/process to show you how I go through all the little things and build an entire sales letter. I'm going to hang out for one more second to see if there's... I covered everything in this outline. I'm so proud of myself right now. Any other comments? Don't see any. All right, well, I appreciate everyone who tuned in today. Thanks so very much. Check out the process at kylethewriter.com/process. It's 60% off. No, yes, it's 60% off until May 18th. Then I'm closing the doors. It's for beta group only. And that's all I got. Peace out, Copy Squad.